views expressed in the following podcast are in blatant violation of international human rights agreements. They do not reflect the views of our employers, spouses, friends, colleagues, the CIA, CSIS, or Interpol. The agent who contacted us thought we were just Russian bots. Your mileage may vary. Welcome to Two and Change. The people are real, the drinking is real, and the opinions, unfortunately, are also real. On today's show, we're talking about the political impact of the new moose sanctuary up near Thunder Bay, Ontario.
What? Really? You bring me on this week and you want to talk about a moose sanctuary in Thunder Bay?
Well, it has been pretty contentious for the local city council. There's even word of a recall election for the city's wildlife enforcement officer.
Oh, I didn't know that was an elected position.
Me neither. It seems that...
Oh, come on, guys. I know you guys try to focus on Canadian politics, but this was kind of a big week for Trump.
Is there something going on with, sorry, who's this you're talking about?
Trump? Donald Trump?
Donald. Oh, Trump. You mean that guy from The Apprentice?
The President of the United States.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
You're kidding, right?
Dear God, someone put him in charge of the world's largest economy and a bunch of nuclear weapons? Who would do that?
Funny you should ask. Who?
You know, we gotta stop this guy. I mean, what if he goes nuts and just hires a bunch of cronies and undoes 30 years of economic and social progress in the U.S.?
Screw the moose sanctuary. We gotta talk about this.
Well, let's not get too excited now. I mean, look, if the American voters voted him into office in what I'm sure was a free and open election, I mean, who are we to get upset about this? It's really just the will of the people, right? Right, guys? Oh, shit.
Welcome to Two and Change. This is Josh, and I am drinking... well, I'm actually not drinking anything because I started with Kahlua and coffee, but I think the Kahlua may have turned. I don't know if Kahlua can turn or this is just shitty Kahlua. I'm not really sure which, but on the mediocre scale, it's definitely a -7.
Well, you know, we do have another bottle of Kahlua. It might be an old bottle.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's definitely funky.
Yeah, and this is Tim. I'm drinking... so Mike's not here, so I'm drinking a Canadian Club in soda. That soda happens to be Mountain Dew. I'm totally joking, Mike. I have more respect than that. So 12-year-old Canadian Club and Club Soda. It's awesome. And sitting in for Mike tonight is our veteran political reporter and or just Steve. Hi, Steve.
Thank you, Tim.
What you drinking there?
I'm drinking a Stella Artois, and as we discussed downstairs in the kitchen, it is straight from Belgium.
Yeah, I figured it would be brewed under license somewhere, but turns out no. This bottle came from Belgium.
Straight import. I didn't know that. I figured it was brewed somewhere in like Toronto or
Yeah,
Montreal.
isn't international trade fun? Look at all the great things we can do with international trade. If you didn't catch on from the introduction there, we don't really talk about Trump much on the show because we figure there's enough places talking about Trump. But we can no longer avoid it because holy shitballs, look what's happened this week.
What's happened this week that's worse than the last year? Like every week it seems to be like, oh crap, it can't get worse. Oh, nope, okay.
Well, no. This time it didn't get worse for us. It got worse for Trump.
Well,
that's the difference, man.
You can even argue it got worse for us because it's getting worse for him.
That was a good initial point, though. We're always waiting for that week or that day that things are going to change and turn. But for whatever reason, he still has his allies, and they stick by him, and they apparently still are sticking by him. Surprisingly.
Well, I mean, there are rats deserting the sinking ship, though. I mean, I read that his CFO of the Trump organization just made a deal for immunity, and this guy definitely knows where the bodies are buried when it comes to that charity. So it's starting to flee.
But that's the whole point with Trump, though, is does it even matter? Right, like he's getting to the point where he's attacking the justice system. He's attacking everything, the core fundamentals of democracy. And he essentially, for him, he'd be like, well, you did it. You're going to jail. And he'd be like, fuck you. No, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm the president.
Not if he gets impeached. That'd be fun to watch the marshals walk in and have to serve. No, it wouldn't be the marshals, would it? Because it would be an act of Congress.
No,
so it would be the Capitol Hill Police that would have to do it.
Which he has direct control over.
Not the Capitol Hill Police. They work for the Senate.
which he is essentially the
No.
officer.
Secret.
Okay,
It's the Senate version of the Secret Service.
But here's
it is the
but
Senate
it's-
version of the Marshal Service.
but it's a gray area because the only one that can check for the presidential power that can issue an injunction for an arrest is the Justice Department. So it would actually have to be the Supreme Court that issues that because it goes straight to.
But
Supreme
Congress
Court.
has the power
Because it
from my
can't go to a
reading.
federal appeal because if it goes to federal, that falls under the Attorney General, which is actually a conflict of interest.
But there's
because
no
of
constitutional process that puts anything to do with impeachment in the hands of the executive branch or barely in the judicial branch.
impeachment is not arrest.
But if you're impeached and removed from office, then there needs. But the mechanism has to rely on Congress.
but if you refuse to be removed from office,
As long as the DOJ is not going to indict a sitting president, which seems like that's what they're not going to do, it's going to have to be a political way to remove him from office, and that it's going to happen through impeachment. People are using the I word a lot more commonly right now. I'll notice.
Ironically, apparently somebody did, I can't remember where I saw
the I
this, was
words,
watching-
ironically,
No, or interestingly enough,
interesting,
another I word.
ironic. It's the letter of the day.
Hey kids, your letter is I.
Two and Change is sponsored by the. Wait. It's not the count. It's not the alphabet. It's the count. He
know.
has numbers. Not was he the Roman count?
This is upside down world. Trump's president. Everything goes.
I'm just thinking, is like, what kind of count counts in Roman numerals? I, bat.
I, V.
Oh God.
Okay. Anyways, the whole point being is it's a big giant fuck up, and it's a big giant gray area on whether we can arrest the president or not. So
I don't think we can. I don't think the framers of the Constitution of the United States envision a scenario where somebody's actively fucking up.
They haven't, but that's why they set a good constitution into play, and the rule of law I've maintained on this show before. It still exists, and as soon as Robert Mueller brings actual evidence to the forefront of everybody's attention, and I'm talking the Congress, I'm talking the people, like the electorate, that's when everything is going to turn, in my opinion.
it's always been, but it's always there is still a basis that the president will willingly give himself over, and if he doesn't. This is unfortunately. This gets
He'll quit before that. Before
You're
he
gonna see
gets
they take
impeached.
control of the military and refuse
theoretically, he could expand. He could take emergency budgets into the whatever the.
Well,
forces
you're
are.
talking, but you're talking about at that point. You're talking about a civil war because then it's like who obeys the order, who doesn't. Then we start seeing states fracturing off, and you're talking about like a full. I don't think it's going to come.
44%
I don't
of
think
Americans
It's
Giuliani
strong.
and Donald hope it is going to come.
40 no 40
no, because y'all cracker down there, y'all Qaeda or whatever you want to call it, vanilla ISIS down there. They think that they've got Trump thinks that
42.5% of Americans still fully support the president
Crazy.
of the United States.
It's a higher approval rating than a lot of presidents have had at this stage.
no of the people who it's about what Nixon had at this stage during
Yes, except
Watergate.
Nixon was willing to step down because Nixon was, as much as he wasn't a good president and was terrible, he was sane.
But only after he lost his allies, only after he lost the confidence of his allies in the Senate.
This is Donald
He's
Trump.
not there
Donald
yet.
Trump doesn't care about allies. That
But we're saying, but we're
anything.
talking about something that's 3 steps than where we are today. We kind of have to see what's going to happen.
You made a good point, though, Tim. Like the CFO of the Trump organization has essentially flipped. So has his personal lawyer over all these years, as have a lot of people. I mean, I'm definitely seeing a tide turning for sure.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be very interesting what's gonna happen in the next few. I don't know. I don't want to say years, but I mean it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be done
Seems to take
quickly.
time.
Yeah, I mean Watergate took a long time. I mean, look at the Clinton impeachment process. It started with a shaky real estate deal, and went all the way to getting impeached for a blowjob. That took years.
Yeah, this has already been a year and a half investigation, though, too, at
Yeah.
the same time. I think things could start moving more rapidly soon, maybe after the midterms, depending on what happens in the midterms, too.
I'm really hoping that it's going to be a Democrat wave. So I mean, I really hope that people don't take that. Oh, I don't have to go out. There's going to be plenty of people voting. Fuck you, vote.
You have
asshole.
You have far too much confidence in the American public at this point. I've lost all faith in them.
No, I mean, I haven't lost
there's
all
great.
faith.
There's a lot of them that are fantastic and great. It's just
You know
in
why-
mass. They're batshit stupid.
You know why I haven't lost faith? Because I was talking to my father the other day, who lives in the U.S. as a Canadian citizen.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking about getting his U.S. citizenship just so he can go vote because he's lived in the U.S. for 30 some years. No, more than that. almost 40 years now as a Canadian, not as a U.S. citizen. He wants to get his citizenship because he wants to be able to go and vote and do something about these things. As long as you're inspiring that level of effort from some people, I think we've got something.
And there are others like him too. I mean, it's becoming more and more clear that the president is literally a criminal. It's very, very likely that he's a criminal. And the more people that, get behind that understanding, I think impeachment is inevitable.
I think it's going to be, if you don't leave, we'll impeach you, and then he'll make up some bullshit about health or I've already won or MAGA or some shit. I don't think he's going to stand up for an impeachment trial. I mean, he's stubborn, but I don't think he's. I don't think he's stupid.
Yes, but for an impeachment
he's
trial,
crazy.
Here's the thing: for an impeachment trial, he has to show up to be questioned, and if he doesn't show up to be questioned by the Senate, they can hold him in contempt. But to get a contempt order, that has to be issued by back to the problems within a republic. That has to be issued by the Attorney General. Attorney General can't issue it because it's a conflict of interest. So it has to be only place.
Yes, it can, because Rosenstein can issue it because he doesn't have a conflict of interest.
Not to the executive power head, which is the president. It's a constitutional gray area.
Well, that's right. You're not saying he can't do it. You're saying it's a gray area.
So
there's a difference.
I think he will fight impeachment, though.
Of course.
Because I think the alternative is handcuffs. Seriously.
Why can't we have both?
He's going to fight tooth and nail because the alternative is a trial and the evidence is overwhelming, and he's going to go to jail if he doesn't hang on to power in a very corrupt way. So that's what him and his lawyer Giuliani are aiming for right now.
Well, Giuliani's been priming the pump for a good year. Grandpa Munster's going on TV telling everyone, collusion's not really a crime. And basically he's already prepping for so they can go out and say, look, I've always been upfront about it and blah, 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 blah.
Well, truth isn't truth anymore either.
No, it's not.
Right? I mean, we're living in Orwellian times.
Oh my fucking God. They actually said this too.
They were saying, so Fox News, I saw a fantastic thing. It was MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS News, all the major sort of affiliates that are reporting when Cohen and Manafort on the same day, just like the Donald Trump world just blew up, right? Mm-hmm. Fox News, what was the tag? Obama invented Festivus to something. Like literally.
Oh no, it was the one guy who might be an illegal immigrant who might have killed a girl. Oh yeah, that's what they're running the banner on.
But you got to remember,
talk about fucking that chicken.
That's the primary news
I mean,
source.
Of course, horrible situation, but hey, you're much more likely to get killed by one of those Whitey McStraight crackers down there than you are an immigrant.
But when that's the primary news source, that is your reality.
We live in an echo chamber, right? But even I think it's going to crack at some point. I mean, look at what happened. No, here's the thing, because I think there is enough people at Fox News, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, who still have some modicum, some shred of decency, and you see it peek out every once in a while. I mean, if it straight up went to straight up propaganda lies, you're going to see something that's happened basically to Alex Jones, where basically not even the carriers are going to want to even deal with it.
Yeah, Fox
they're going to lose sponsors. They're going to lose.
Inquirer quite yet.
Yeah, they're going to lose sponsors. They're going to have to go to alternate media. Alternate media such as Facebook, YouTube, et cetera, are perfectly willing to flip them the bird, and they're going to basically start diminishing market share. They already are starting to shed market share, and they're already starting to shed dollars of value. Well, it's already happening.
You heard how his buddy at the National Enquirer, David Pecker, he's flipped on Trump now. Apparently,
his name is Pecker.
They're lifelong friends too.
I love it. His name's Pecker.
But my point is,
Pecker had a safe full of sex secrets.
This is all this has been.
Pecker had a safe full of sex secrets.
This is all
you can't make this up.
It's like Anthony Weiner all over again.
We live in the weirdest timeline, man. Donald Trump is president, and some guy named David Pecker has a safe full of sex secrets.
Yeah. See, this is what
the actual fuck is going on.
This is all it was about. We just so we could have the luxury of the president of the United States is worried about his Pecker.
Pecker's going to take down the president in more ways than one.
Oh yeah,
his Pecker, David Pecker. Anthony Weiner will somehow show up in there. I don't know. I guess he just sort of slips in.
He's probably sexting like a 12-year-old.
Oh, God.
Yeah, why do Republicans have surnames that are other words for penises?
Weiner is a Democrat, though.
Oh, my apologies. I guess I should substitute Republicans with Americans then.
Americans.
No,
we have what do you have up there? Up here, do we have? We have
David Koch.
Yeah,
I just made that.
Okay. And Stephen Penisnose. Can't forget about Stephen
Jonathan
Peterson.
Mooseshite.
Jonathan Mooseshite.
Oh, sorry, Mooseshite.
No, well, we got to make Jacques.
Jacques
Mooseshite.
He's from New Brunswick. No, Quebec.
No, New Brunswick.
New Brunswick, yeah.
If it was New Brunswick, they just say moose shit. It depends on who you're talking to. If you're an Anglophone, they'll say moose shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you're Francophone, they'll go all on. Yeah. No, I think it's going to be very interesting, whatever happens in the next couple of years. I don't really think it's going to devolve to civil war. It's basically what's going to happen is that if they bring it to impeachment, you're going to see the Senate get in line. The crazies will be out of the House by then too, because there'll still be the core contingents of crazies, but there's going to be enough you only need a majority in the House.
You might need only
Remember
8
that.
or 10 Republicans at the end of the day. You need 60 in total, right? So if,
You need, I think, 3/4 to impeach.
$5
to convict. So you need half the House to impeach,
Yep.
which they'll get when Democrats take it in
You
November.
need
Because
2/3 for Senate.
2/3.
you need
so
2/3 for
66.
Senate. So 67.
That's hard.
67. You'll get it. Because
But
here's the thing.
Democrats
Democrats will
will win
take
the
them.
They could. It's
Well, they won't get 67, but they'll get enough pressure because senators are a little bit of a different. There are crazies.
right. What I'm saying though is
But
they
you'll
might
see.
win a majority, and then they only need 16 or 17.
Yeah, but you'll get what's going to happen is you'll get people like Lindsey Graham will
You
fall
guys
in
are
line.
so
You'll
funny.
Get,
You guys actually think the Democrats are going to pull off the House?
they will
for sure.
Yeah.
They have,
They'll flip it.
statistically, I think they have less than a 20% chance of doing that.
No, the poll I saw said about 80. Then again, it's the same poll that said Hillary was going to win. So
I
Fake
don't
news
think
again.
I don't think the Democrats are going to pull it off.
Well, we'll talk more about that on our break. We'll be right back after we get some refills and some non-rancid Kahlua for Josh.
You're listening to Two and Change, the podcast where whiskey is the most superior drink.
Hold on just one damn minute. There are many drinks out there.
Like Kahlua and coffee, I need
And
my
beer.
caffeine
And
and beer.
And those drinks exist. Whiskey is better. You know what else is better? Our website, twoandchange.ca. You
Better
can
than
also-
what?
Better than all of the above. Where you can also find our blog at twoandchange.ca. You can also look us up on Facebook and Twitter. Follow us there, and hopefully you're enjoying the show.
We have a big giant fluffy dog, 2 cats, a third one that hangs around.
I think that's your child.
No, those are
And welcome back.
the something.
That's
else.
going straight to your wife.
She listens to the show.
Does she?
On occasion, yeah.
Very nice. Just to make sure, she's keeping up, making sure that, you are where you say you're going on a Friday night, Anyway, so
She really just does it to make fun of you, Tim.
well, that's fair too.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Sometimes
to
I
make
tell her to stop. It gets kind of mean.
fun of. Yeah, it's don't worry. I wouldn't make fun of her. She's a delight. We were just having coffee the other day talking about this. It's just coffee, Josh. God, didn't turn to dinner and drinks. That hardly ever happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so I guess we got to refill some.
If she had the time for that, I would be shocked.
Why do you think she's always so busy
Yeah, very.
and tired? He's like, get the fuck out. This has been declared public space, so I guess we can't base off of last episode. So we've got our second round here. I've got the Canadian Club and Soda. You've got more Stella
Stella
Artois.
Artois.
Good stuff. And you switched from, that's not vodka, that's water. Mike, if you're listening, that's your Tomatin and Splenda. Tomatin and Splenda.
See, I'm gonna go get some Gatorade and put it in there.
Gatorade and Gatorade and Tomatin 12-year Highland
No,
Scotch.
like Black Label or something. Like just really ruin it. You know.
The black label's mine. Don't touch that. I mean, it's all mine, sorry, bits. But anyway, so it's in my bar. So getting back to Trumpety Trump there. So fuck that guy, hey.
Fuck that guy in.
Well, I think I'm just curious. Is like he just fucks himself, doesn't he? I mean, he just really just fucked himself.
He's a train wreck. I mean,
Yeah, like he could have just left well enough alone, been a mediocre president, not been reelected, elected on a fluke. And it really just came down to if he just shut the fuck up about the whole
Could have
Comey
just sat
thing.
on his golden throne or toilet and just, sat there and took his shit.
Everyone would have been, yes, Donald, Space Force is happening, it's fine, yes. Like, he could have said half the crazy stuff and we would have just ignored it.
Yes.
I mean, I think...
I want a parade! Okay, Donald.
Like, we avoided the whole, like, we were going to do a show about the whole locking children in cages thing, but the part of the problem is that we all sort of agreed.
Yeah.
And shows aren't very good if we agree, because you shouldn't be locking children in cages. That's weird, right? That's objectively weird.
exactly.
And wrong.
It's not really a wrong. It's just more weird.
I mean,
it's wrong.
people in every single country of the world are like, honestly, like, really?
Like even if like Iran's going, hey, dude,
Exactly.
which they did. Even China's like, hey, we've done some fucked up shit, but we've never locked up children in cages.
Yeah, we only lock them up in the Apple factory. Get it right. If you're gonna lock kids up, make sure you're producing for your economy.
Hey, those tiny fingers can make those iPhones really easily, man. Oh God, I'm feeling. So predictions: 2018 midterms. I'm predicting the blue wave. Steve, I don't know if you're on sort of the same frame. Do you think it's going to be like a crushing majority or kind of a simple majority? Like, where are you
I think
thinking?
it's going to be a gigantic wave.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
I think if the Republicans are gonna lie, cheat, and steal their way to the election.
So you're more pessimistic, basically.
No, I'm more realistic.
Well, I'm going to lie,
Based
cheat,
on
and
past
steal.
behaviors
Well, look, I'm
and
going to
the
say.
trend line.
Well, they're going to lie, cheat.
Pessimistic.
No, they're gonna lie, cheat, and steal. But I think what's different this time is that the Democratic base is energized in a way we haven't seen since 2008. That I think that's the difference. Because look, if I didn't vote, was running for president, was on the ballot, I didn't vote, would have been president in 2016.
So yeah, we're talking about how the American people are going to react to Trump. It's really a referendum on Trump right now, this midterm election. That's what it's going to boil down to.
And usually the midterms are a referendum on the sitting president.
I don't disagree with those points, but
You use a double negative.
yeah, exactly. I'm learning from the Republicans, everyone.
The page out of Trump's book right there.
Look, truth isn't always the truth, okay?
Sometimes it's
God.
relative when it's not. Yeah, no. So, anyways,
That's an alternative fact right
yes,
there.
the reality is,
Kellyanne of Green Gables. Oh,
I
God.
think there is going to be that wave to some extent, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And two, there's so much gerrymandering and rule changes going on. When they got a lot of flack in Georgia, when they were going to close all the polls in black neighborhoods, they decided to back off a little bit on that.
Well, okay,
but
but-
like that's just Georgia, like Mississippi, Alabama.
Look, I don't think 2016, I mean, Russia meddling, et cetera, aside, really from the Republican side hasn't been that much worse than it was in 2008 when we saw a really crushing victory for Obama. Because there was a lot of dirty tricks going on, poll closing, gerrymandering, a lot of the same situation. So why is 10 years later so much different?
Because 10 years later, in 2008 they were still worried about the law. 2018, they don't give a shit.
Well, they've always been about power. Law was always lip service. I mean, how else do you explain half the shit the Bush administration got away with?
They still had a reason to appear legal. Now they don't even care about that. You can do a lot more when you don't even care about appearing legal anymore.
No, they still care about appearing legal. They still have to make acts and they have to justify it. Like the justification could be complete, stupid, utter bullshit. But they still have to. It's not like you got Maduro in Venezuela going, yeah, that's what the money's worth. And fuck you, you're going to jail. They don't have that yet.
But never misunderestimate the stupidity. My favorite saying, never misunderestimate the stupidity of the American public. But this one also, never misunderestimate the apathy of the American public. So, and I think people are still as bad and just terrible that Donald Trump is. People are still apathetic. And it's harder to motivate people to come out to an election for what they're...
All right, Josh, I'll make a bet with you. If the Democrats capture the House and the Senate, I will shotgun a PBR right on the podcast. If, however, they do not capture both, I'm saying both, I'm being generous here. So meaning that they have to get both the House and the Senate, you will have to shotgun a PBR. And if they fail to do so,
and he'll drink a fifth of vodka.
no. If they fail to do so, I will shotgun said beer. And when I say shotgun, I mean we'll figure it out where you actually pierce the side and just go for it in the backyard. All right? So, do we have a deal? Do we have a deal? Shake hands?
Beer. Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, Steve, you're a witness. This is happening.
I've seen this. With my own
I don't want to. It's one that I really hope
I don't know how to shotgun a beer.
I'm hoping I'm shotgunning it. I hope I shotgun a PBR because
So when
the
I
other
shotgun
alternative is really depressing, and I kind of might want to shotgun a PBR.
Get it over with. Yeah.
shotgun the PBR versus shotgun in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah.
Look, I mean, this will be the happiest PBR you ever shotgun if you're right. If you're wrong on
Not
this,
the happiest.
you'd be pretty happy if the Democrats.
I mean, I don't know if I've shotgunned any other PBR, so I guess.
I mean, we have to stop pretending the Democrats are some sort of liberal party. They're not they're not even the they're basically right of the Canadian Liberal Party, not by a whole lot, but they're about maybe slightly right of where the Liberals are.
It doesn't matter where they stand on the spectrum at this point. It just matters that they're not batshit fucking crazy.
And that's traditionally where they are, but they're also moving a lot more towards the left, I would say, recently. I mean,
no, I think the Republicans have moved to
no,
the
no.
Social Democrats.
Democrats
have moved to the left.
There's actually Democrats as a whole, no, but there's actually it's like saying, well, I guess it's fair if it's a big tent, yeah. So I think it's so I think there are people who are actually taking back the term socialist or taking back the term socialist democrat. So you're seeing people who be much more in line with the Canadian NDP party going to the Democrats because they don't have an equivalent of the NDP. And right now they do not need one. For God's sakes, do not split the vote.
No shit. Eh?
Please do not do this.
There are some interesting movements that is happening in the Democrats, and I would say it's not necessarily moving to
And
the
they're
left.
not all bowel.
I would say no, exactly.
They'll have universal health care in 10 years, I'm sure.
Well, they cannot
No.
be a modern industrial nation and compete
will.
with other
Assuming they don't
countries.
burn all to the ground.
If there
That's
is an
that's the trajectory I see. California, Washington, Oregon, they stay. New York figures it out, and then everything else just burns. When did that stop?
No, it's fine. Hindenburg didn't crash. TeamViewer crashed. We are just not having a good day here.
God damn it, I'm cursed.
Clearly.
We've never had TeamViewer crash.
What's the password for TeamViewer?
That's literally never happened.
Oh, don't worry. It happens to a lot of guys, Josh. This is why we have bloopers.
The old I swear this never happens. I love it.
It's just been so long, and you're very pretty, TeamViewer. It's I mean, I was just really tired. That's all. I just had a really tiring day.
Anyways,
Scenes from Josh's life.
Oh, man.
Oh fuck! Every guy's life. Come on, every guy's probably said that at one point. Right. You guys are shaking your heads no. Yeah. All right. Well.
yeah. So, anyways, I don't think necessarily that it's moving to the left. It's just for the random laughter. We did have a break in there for technical errors. That's why.
Oh, I'm just gonna edit out the edit mark and we're just gonna keep rolling. Fuck
Okay.
it, this is fun. I'm just having a good time now.
All right. Well, sure. All right. No. So back to the point that I was making, if I can remember it, is
You're assuming you had a point
Yeah,
worth
the Democrats
making.
are not moving to the left so much. I think we're seeing more of a larger grassroots overtaking of the party because it's not just like the Ortez or whatever her name was and these sort of socialist branded Democrats are doing. They're also seeing the Democrats that are very sort of right leaning military guys that's running in like Kentucky and winning. And
I don't think you're seeing a movement to the
left.
left. I think you see more of a broadening of the party to include more left
Non-trad-
elements. Does that make sense?
That's
or-
fair, but I mean,
The center of the Democrats is still the center of the Democrats.
regardless, now's not the time for ideology, though. I agree. They need to unite the left.
Well, they
because
don't
there's
inspire
a
me.
constitutional crisis occurring, and I realize that. But people need to also realize.
Well,
the
my
threat,
candidate only matches 95% of what I believe. So I'm just gonna. I don't know. I'm
people
gonna
are
vote
so.
for Jill Stein.
The Democrats
Fucking
right now
treason weasel.
are so scared to run on impeachment. Do you think they should run on impeachment, or should they never say the I word? Essentially,
I think it's going to cause them more. They don't have to. They don't. They not have to say get their firebrands in the safe districts to say
Somebody
it.
ran the numbers. The Republicans say the impeachment more than Democrats right now.
I believe it.
Yeah,
And
because
so-
they're afraid of it.
And I don't think they've probably ran the data and realized that this is probably not what they want. And I think that's part of the problem, though, with the Democratic Party. As much as the Republican Party is a gong show, batshit crazy, they don't care about what the data says. They just say what the fuck they want to say, right? And we've lost that in politics somehow. As
Well,
everyone
because
is looking
you've
at
lost
the data
the-
and what
the
should be
Democrats
said
have
and how
no
it's-
balls,
Or
essentially.
and all
Is
the
that-
parties,
no-
though. That's not limited to the Democrats. There's a lot of issues in politics,
The
people aren't willing
Democrats
to say what they believe in.
The Democrats are like the one, like, you ever have tests like in grade school, university, high school, whatever, where the teacher leaves the room for whatever reason and all the kids in the room cheat, and there's always the one kid going, come on, guys, you can't do that. We have to be honest. That's the Democrats right now.
Wow, the personification of the party. You nailed it. I think you nailed it.
That is, I mean, it's not that they're wrong. They're actually correct.
Yeah.
And no, they'll still, they'll still steal the, milk in the lunchroom, whatever, like the other kids. But when it comes to this particular one thing,
but maybe they shouldn't be too strong, because when Clinton impeachment was a thing, he was getting a bump in the polls because they were talking about impeachment. So the party will defend.
And I think that's what they're afraid of, is that they're going to rile up the Republican base, which is still it's small but mighty, and they don't want to suppress.
They're sharpening those pitchforks still.
Well, I think we're getting to the point where we want to wrap up today's show. So I don't really have any final thoughts here. Just Team Viewer keeps crashing. I really hope they refund my money. We're not a commercial outfit, so I didn't pay for it. It's free for personal use, and I'm counting this as personal use.
So I'll end it with a final thought. The prediction for the U.S. that I have is, that whole thing where
fire and brimstone.
Basically, yes.
But her emails, son.
And Donald Trump learns to play the violin, right? Like that's
it's gonna be Nero burning down the White House. Great.
That's basically it.
Well, I just want to thank Steve for coming out, and of course Steve will be sitting in on our next episode as well, so stay tuned for that. Also, Jordan will be joining us as well, so we're going to be talking about what's happening north of the border with Maple 2 Scoops, Doug Ford.
Trump light.
Diet Trump. 1 calorie, not Trump enough.
Diet Trump though, but wait,
Anyway, if you're enjoying the show, make sure you check out our website twoandchange.ca, where you can look at our not as updated as like to blog, but we'll get on that very soon. Also, make sure you download.
Make sure you download.
Make sure you download us on Spotify, iTunes, Podbean, wherever you get your podcasts. Anyway, for Two and Change, I'm Tim.
I'm Josh.
I'm Steve.
We'll see you next time. I've never seen Team Viewer crash and Hindenburg crash on the same night. It means something.
It's because we're talking about Donald Trump.
The NSA are listening.
Oh my God.
Fancy Bear. It's Fancy Bear. QAnon and Fancy Bear are in my computer.
Get out of my head, Vladimir.
Get out of my dreams.
What's Fancy Bear?
Fancy Bear. That's the Russian hacking outfit.
Oh.
It's the name of the...
There's even word of a recall election for the city's wildlife enforcement officer.
Oh, I didn't know that was an elected position.
Me neither. It might be a Thunder Bay thing. Seems that...
oh, come on, guys. I know you guys try to focus.
I want to dig at Thunder Bay.
Just take another one.
Yeah, I think this Kahlua might be turning. I don't know if Kahlua can turn, but it tastes like it's turning. All right, so it's distracting. What?
Me neither.
Me neither. Me neither. It seems that...
Oh, come on, guys. I know you guys try to focus on Canadian politics, but this was kind of a big week for Trump.
Is there something going on with... sorry, who's this you're talking about?
Trump? Donald Trump?
Donald. Oh, Trump. You mean that guy from The Apprentice?
The President of the United States.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
You're kidding, right?
Dear God, someone put him in charge of the world's largest economy and a bunch of nuclear weapons? Who would do that?
Funny you should ask who.
We got to stop this guy. I mean, what if he goes nuts and just hires a bunch of cronies and undoes 30 years of economic and social progress in the U.S.?
Screw the Moose Factory sanctuary.
Moose Factory? Fuck.
Oh, this is going to be a good episode.
You say that, but you don't have to edit it.
That's what the beep's for.
All right.